Hi everybody, welcome. My name is Justin. I'm a senior instructor at Wu's Tai Chi Chuan Academy Detroit, and this is another installment of our online classes. Today we're going to cover the single person basic pushing hands Qigong form. Now, first thing I would like to say about it is that if you haven't already watched Sifu Mike's videos on the forward-backward direction or the second warm-up, I encourage you to do so, as the hip mechanics and the motion are going to be very much based on those foundational skills. If you haven't done basic pushing hands, it is a two-person exercise and it looks something like this. You give a person a push, then you give a person another push, you come back and you receive a push, and so on and so forth. We're going to alter that into a Qigong form with an open-handed position, and I'm going to describe the basic mechanics right now. First off, it looks like this. You're going to sit, shift your weight over to one side, step with one foot, toe up, toe down, start with both palms up, and then we similarly close the hip to extend the hands, and we turn the hip as we go to the sides. A few things about this posture that's good to know is the hand positions. So we have a forearm from the wrist down to the elbow, and this is the basic distance of our hands as we're doing the turning on the back direction. And it's not exact, but it's pretty much measurable by the length of your forearm. Some other things that could be said about it is that, like, we imagine that we're holding on to a ball, like a basketball-sized ball. And we will use the surface of this sphere to kind of orient the motion of the hands as we continue. So let's just kind of run through it, and I'll describe, and you can watch and then maybe follow along as we do a set together. So I'm going to start with lifting the head, tucking the chin, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the chest, and relaxing my breathing so that I'm breathing down into my dantian. I'm going to cover the breathing pattern in a bit, so let's just focus on the motions. So I'm going to sit down and back in the hip as if I'm imagining an invisible chair behind me. And I'm going to shift my weight over onto my right leg. I'm going to step with my left foot extended with the toe held up. And of course, we never want to distort our posture. It's just a natural extension out from the hip. Start with your hands palm up, and you're going to land the toe, drop the hip, and then you're going to move forward, leading with the knee, and then you're going to close the hip and extend your right hand. You're going to open the hip, and the left hand is going to scoop on top, and then as you complete that opening of the hip, the left hand goes to the right corner. As you sit back, the bottom hand comes up and around to the top of that ball that we mentioned earlier on the central line of the body, and then you're going to turn the hip to the left, and then you're going to rotate the hands to exchange positions as you come to center, and then you're going to turn the hip to the right. As the toe lands, the top hand comes to the outside of that ball and underneath the right hand, and you shift your weight and once again go through the set of motions. So on and so forth. You're going to want to maintain a tucked chin in the forward lean, so we all have this tendency to kind of look straight ahead in front of us, but it's very much tucking so that you're looking almost out from underneath your eyebrows. My teacher used to call it the Boris Karloff kind of look. So you're going to, once again, when you close the hip, extend one hand to the side, wrists at shoulder height. When you open the hip again, the hands kind of exchange, and you complete that motion again, wrist at shoulder height. The fingers are active, meaning that there's a stretch, and you should be feeling here a stretch through the arm, so that when you close the hip, you're actually kind of doing a little bit of a corkscrew motion with the hand, with the upturned palm to kind of get this stretch. Like everything we do in Tai Chi, the movement is motivated from the hip. So that means my hip connects to my elbow connects to my wrist, wrist to my fingers, and so on. So that when I do a closing of the hip, hip stops, hand stops. When I do the opening, hip stops, hand stops. Some things that can be said about the back direction. When we turn to one side, in this case I'll start here, we turn to one side, we keep the head straight with the chin tucked, and we feel like a stretch happening in the neck here. The elbow is on the center line of the body, and it's almost like an elbow strike. So you have that kind of focus in the elbow to continue stretching throughout the arm here. Let's talk a little bit about this imagery with the ball. So let's imagine that we're holding this basketball in our right palm. When the toe goes down and we go forward, we present that basketball to the left corner. When we open the hip, the hands meet in the center line of the body, and the left hand kind of scoops that ball up, and then you present it to the right. As you come back, this top hand again comes to the outside of the ball and then rests on top. The toe comes up, and then you turn, holding the ball to the side. And as you come back to middle, you turn and exchange hands, still holding onto this ball. And once again, the hand comes to the outside, the left hand in this case comes to the outside as the toe lands, and now you imagine that ball once again in the right hand, and again you scoop it up, present it to the other side, so on and so forth. Don't get too caught up in the imagery of the ball, but something that you might notice as you practice, depending on how sensitive you are, how loose you are, how relaxed you are, is that you might actually start feeling like the physical sensation almost of this kind of squishy ball, which is kind of cool. The breathing, let's talk about the breathing. So we start always on an in-breath, and again, that's a full breath in through the nose, down to the belly, out from the belly, and out through the nose. So we breathe in the first one. We breathe in, and then we extend to the side and exhale. We breathe into the middle and exhale to the side. As we come back, we breathe in, and then we turn to the left, exhale. Come to the middle, inhale, and then to the right, exhale. We inhale as we bring that top hand down, and then once again we exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, turn, exhale, inhale, exhale. So that is the basic breathing pattern of this single person pushing hands Qigong form.